Good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to High Top Sports Recruiting. I'm Cody, the professor. But first, we got to thank the sponsors, the guy that pays the bills. We are powered by BetUS. This video is powered by BetUS. Let's go ahead and get right into it. We got some OU looking a little clunky on offense, going against Tulane this week. It's gonna be a good matchup. They faced Houston, which is the old coach of Tulane. Tulane, he did not leave Tulane with the cupboard completely gone, but and then we got Florida and DJ Lagaway. Can he bring enough to the table to get a big win over A&M? Jason's gonna say outside perspective what he thinks about that. But let's go ahead and get into Oklahoma and Tulane. What does Oklahoma need to do to get a win over Tulane? This is not a scrub. This isn't, Sewanee State or whatever, you know, school the blind like some of these other teams are playing this week. This is a very good program for the last, what you would say, 10 years, 5 years, 10 years.
Right.
They're going to play good football. They're not going to be rattled because it's Oklahoma. They almost knocked off Old Miss last year at home. So what
Yep.
what does Oklahoma need to do to get over Tulane?
Probably not what everybody wants to hear, but you got to do a lot more of what you've been doing, which is play very solid defense, not let their offense get going really. They've got a really good quarterback themselves. That's, you know, he's kind of, if you look at what he is, he's one of those guys that's kind of dynamic. He's not a big time runner, but he's going to make some throws that on the run, where he's always seems to be moving around to kind of get going on that in that realm of it. So I like some of their skill position guys and things like that. Their defense appears to be pretty decent, but I do think that if you're Oklahoma, you need to do much more of what you've been doing, which is forcing turnovers. He does look like he's that kind of guy that's going to give you a couple of turnovers here and there. You want to make sure that you force those early, get ahead, and make sure that you can kind of give your offense, I guess, a little breathing room to kind of get better. If you kind of look at it, Cody, that I know a lot of people are being crazy about it, and it didn't look great last week. But if you went and watched any of this, and I know you probably did, it was just a little inconsistencies here and there. It's not that they weren't getting anything done. It's that it just didn't seem like it was really hitting on all cylinders. You get ball moving a little bit, and then all of a sudden you kind of have a mishap or something, a drop or a penalty or a sack, and all of a sudden you're in 3rd and 15. That makes it hard to convert third downs and keep drives going, which is what kills drives, period, and keeps you from getting on the board. What I will say is that I think what a lot of people are going through is kind of PTSD from the race to 50 days under Lincoln Riley, and even kind of a little before that. This is a team that's going to be led by defense. It's hard for Oklahoma fans to get their head around that. If you're not out there scoring 30, 40, 50 points, that's a problem. I would say Willie Fritz is a big reason why Tulane is as good as they are today, even though they do have a new coach and everything, and he's a great coach as well. But they built that on the back of Willie Fritz. He came in. They certainly looked a lot better than they did in week one, in week two against Oklahoma. But Oklahoma looked better along the offensive line than people were acting like they did too. I think there's little things they need to shore up. You're going to get Nick Anderson back this week, possibly Andrell Anthony. You get a chance to kind of get a little bit better. But I think if you continue to ride your defense and just don't turn the football over, you're going to be in a position to win every game.
For sure. They gotta get the 5-star number one running back, Tatum. They gotta get him a ball out in space, get him in early, get him involved in the screen game. I think that is, we've seen flashes of that, but they really need to focus in on that. Look, they got good running backs. It's just, it feels like, and I think people are freaking out a little bit. I truthfully think that the offense might be just a couple weeks behind. You had a bunch of transfers for the offensive line, but you got a proven um, offensive line coach that's put more. I mean, minus Wisconsin, I would say probably more NFL linemen in the NFL. Uh,
There's more money
if
from
not,
Oklahoma than anywhere else right now.
yeah,
If you
yeah,
add
it's
up
got to
their
be
their
one,
NFL
two.
dollars, if you add up their NFL dollars, it's Oklahoma first. So, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not too worried about it.
so a very proven offensive line coach, but that stuff takes time to
Yeah.
gel, and that's the thing with the transfer portal guys. These these guys gotta, they get in, but they gotta get time to gel, and the offensive line has to do that. I think they will be fine. I think it's a blessing. I think Houston was a blessing to kind of give a shot across the bow, and then you're
Glad you
taking the
said that.
next. I think you're taking the next step up with Tulane. I think Tulane is a better team right now than Houston is right now. So you're taking another echelon up, and then you get into SEC play. And by then, if the offense isn't cooking by then it is what it is. It's just not. It's probably not going to be what you guys were expecting. But I think that this is going to be a good step. I think it's a team that you don't overlook though, because a team
Facts.
like this could definitely beat you. But I think they're going to ride the defense. I think you're right, and I think Oklahoma fans probably should simmer down a little bit, guys. It's week 3.
And they're still undefeated. Yeah. And look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's not kind of scary what we saw, because it kind of is. It kind of is. And you definitely want to see them play a little better against a team that like Houston. But I would also say that what you said, when you kind of have that game that you get a little scare in you like that, and it's not against the team that you expected, because I think anybody would have expected that would probably be Tulane. But the fact that you did kind of have that maybe letdown game, if you want to call it that, in a situation like that, probably makes sure that you don't have it this week. I think that Venables was kind of signaling it last Wednesday in his press conference. He wasn't very happy. He wasn't his normal self in that Wednesday press conference time. I think that they really need to make sure. I think that they really need to really make sure that they lock it up, and I think they will, man. The truth be told is, yeah, there's not a lot of yardage. They're obviously last in the SEC in yards per pass, but he also only has 1 turnover on the season. And really, that turnover for Jackson Arnold was pretty much on Deion Burks, because he got skinny on the route instead of finishing the route and allowed that secondary guy to jump it and get the pick there. Really, overall, I've seen some things. You've seen enough good things out of them that you can calm down a little bit if you're an Oklahoma fan. Now, there's Oklahoma fans that will not. There's some that are fine. But I would just say that as far as I'm not concerned about the guy that went out and won Elite 11 in a year that, had a guy like Nico Iamaleava in it as well, and Dante Moore and all those guys too. So, give him some time. I think they need to simplify things a little bit as far as Seth Luttrell, take away some of those reads. I think he's trying to make the perfect read and make sure the guy's wide open. As well as I do, there's not a whole lot of wide open receivers, once you get into the SEC. Right. There's not just going to be a ton that are wide open. Have him read half the field and make the throw. That way he just because he does have the arm, let's just let him get some confidence about it. And I think that's really all he needs, is just to be confident not to get a turnover there. And even if you do, it's okay. You know what I mean? Make some of those throws, and get your swagger back a little bit. I don't think it's as bad as people were making it out to be. I really don't.
Let's go ahead and check on the other side of the ball, and then we will get to the Florida content. I know I got a couple Florida guys in here, Trav, and some other guys. Defensive side of the ball, has been good. I think that the offense needs to actually help them out a little bit and sustain some drives. My boy Jaden Jackson has looked incredible. That defensive line is as true as what we thought it was. Yeah. And I think that the secondary is very good. I think it's actually probably better than what we thought so far. Now I know you guys haven't played like a Tennessee or something that's going to stretch a wide area out yet, but definitely some bright spots on that defense. What are you expecting to happen with Tulane? What do you think they're going to do? And what do you think the style of play? Are they going to let those guys on the defense just pin their ears back and go after it? And do you think the offense can actually help them out and sustain some drives?
I think they will. I think the offense, like I said, I think if you do something, you saw some improvement out of the line, first of all, last week. That's not, if anything, Jackson was leaving a clean pocket sometimes. I think that as I said, make it a little simpler, run the ball a little bit more than what you did the other day, kind of establish that you're going to be in good shape. When it comes to the defense, I trust this defense. I trust what Zach Alley and Coach Venables are doing. The guys in the secondary are big hitters. Yeah, somebody Garrett Bulwer in here saying, I hope Mario Williams gets introduced to the boogeyman. Yeah, and he's talking about another freshman. You talk about Jaden Jackson, who is a absolute stud. But let's talk about this secondary that's full of young guys that are studs too. Forget about Peyton Bowen. He's going to do his thing back there. But you've got guys like, Michael Boganowski and Reggie Powers and, there's a number of young guys in the corner and safety positions that are bringing a lot of pain to these guys, and somebody's going to get baptized before long, and they're going to not want to run across the middle. That's for sure. Even the running backs and stuff like that. So I think that Tulane, they're in for a long day because they're probably going to see some things that they've never seen before. Particularly with the redshirt freshman quarterback that's really only been the starter for a few weeks. They only made him the starter, I think, a couple of weeks before the season. So, and he'd been on the practice squad before that. So I would tell you that there's a lot of things that are going to go on defensively that's probably going to, being a young guy that hadn't had a lot of experience either, I think it's going to be tough for him, just like I expect it to be tough for Nico next week when they take on Tennessee as well. I think that they haven't really shown anything exotic on the defensive side of the ball. It's another thing that I think that's kind of going on with the offense too, but we don't have to really talk too much about that. But I think they've been holding a lot back and they've still been dominant. So, I think the defense is I think that's what gives me trust in moving forward, that I'm not too concerned. It's just, I'm just not that worried because I feel like the offense I've always said that the offense does not have to be Baker Mayfield. You don't need Baker out there, putting up 50. You just don't need it. In fact, it might be against the better thing for you to go out there and score like that. So that's just kind of the way I feel about it. I think that they're going to get pressure on this guy. They're going to try to force him to make some mistakes. He's prone to do it. He made a couple of mistakes late in the game last week against Kansas State that hurt him. I think they're gonna capitalize on that quickly. And this is a team that feels like they're being kind of, shit on a little bit. This Oklahoma team feels like they're being shit on a little bit by their own fan base. So I expect them to come out with a lot of fire.
All right, let's go ahead and check out some betting lines real fast before we go to Florida. But before that, what do you think? Score prediction: OU Tulane.
Oh, you're going to make me do a score prediction?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Let's go 31-10. I'll say 31-10.
31-10. I'm going to go 28-21. I think it's close. I think it's close. But I think that Tulane will do enough to stay in it. And it might be a little lower scoring. It might be like a 21-14 game. But we'll see. It depends on how the offense is, and it's going to be a big step up versus next week. Obviously, you got Tennessee. But let's go ahead and check out our proud sponsors. We're going to go ahead and do some pick'ems for Bet US. Right now, with BetUS, you get 150% back on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 by typing in the code YouTube150. That is code YouTube150. Go ahead, log on there. Obviously, you can see my cash. I've bet a little bit, lost a little bit. I got some bets going on right now, so we will see. We will see how it's going to go. But let's go ahead and we're going to scroll down, and I want to get your prediction on 2 games. Alabama, Wisconsin. You taking the 16 points, or are you going to take are you going to let Alabama get the 16? That's 16 and a half. At Camp Randall.
Man, I think that I think Wisconsin covers that.
Yeah, I think they play good defense. I think they're going to keep everything up in front of them, and I think Wisconsin also covers. Let's go ahead and check out one more game. Oh, beautiful, right here. Let's go ahead and see Florida State, Memphis. Memphis is just 6.5 points. Florida State is begging for their first win. Or do you take the over under a 54? What are you thinking?
Have you heard what's going to happen? Are they starting DJU or are they going with the backup? What's going on there?
I think they're going with DJU, last I saw on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them finding a way here, but I think that Memphis is really good and they put their best foot forward in NIL and everywhere else. I like their coaching staff. It's not as much about DJU for me as it is about that coaching staff there. I think that they've done a piss poor job at every level on both sides of the football for both games this season. So to me, I think that you might see them flip it around a little bit here, but I also think that they may still be in trouble. I think this is 0-3 for Florida State, man.
For sure. That would be an epic collapse, and talk about seats getting a little warm. I know he just signed a big extension, but it could happen. Let's go ahead, and if we get them wrong, it's okay, because BetUS has 150% back on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000, and you will get that money back. So if we're wrong on these bets, that's all right. Let's go ahead and let's talk about the next topic, which would be, can DJ help get a win over A&M? What are you thinking on this? I'll let you go first. Obviously, you saw the game last week. I know it's Samford, but the guy looks different.
He's different.
I think they're going to start Mertz. I think Mertz is going to be on a very short rope, very, very short rope.
It should be very short.
And if he falters at all, I think they throw DJ in, and I think Billy Napier knows that because he is on probably the hottest seat in college football.
I'm surprised he hadn't cooked all the way off of it just yet with all the crap he's been talking. Just to be honest, I think that last weekend, I know you and I hadn't talked a ton as far as that goes, but it feels like people are a little more excited seeing Lagaway there. Maybe that gives him a little bit more wiggle room. But I don't know why he's going back to Graham Mertz. I mean, to me, it just doesn't make a lot of sense why you would do that when you saw what you saw out of them. Now, he's a freshman. I get it. You can't expect the world from him, but I don't know. To me, it's Lagaway's time, man. It's Lagaway's time. And if you're not doing the best that you can, you're not going to have a ton of time to get this right. You know what I mean? With the way you can't lose like that. It's not even just losing to Miami. It's losing that way to Miami, you know? And,
Yep.
and don't get me wrong. I know that there's a lot of talent there, but you can't lose like that in the swamp against Miami and then be willing to go back the other way. I know you may believe in Graham Mertz. And to be fair, maybe Graham earned his spot there. It's either, do the right thing by Graham or do the right thing by yourself and keep the job, and by the rest of the team, for that matter as well. At this point, you need to go with the guy that gives you the best chance to win. Period.
And you believe that's DJ?
I don't think there's a freaking question.
So this is the way I think that Billy is thinking. I think that it's the first SEC game. I think that he is thinking, let's start the proven commodity of Graham Mertz, because DJ is riding a high after what he did at Samford. The worst thing to do is to put DJ in and then you pull him. I think if you put him in, he struggles early, and you pull him, that will definitely hurt him, as opposed to putting him, listen, Mertz struggles, he pulls him, and you look at Lagaway and say, here's the keys to the kingdom. Go out and show it. And if he struggles, at least he knows he still has the keys to the kingdom.
But is he getting the starter reps this week to where he's going to be ready for this game plan? Are you putting him in a position that he's not going to be able to go in there and be good? That's the question I got. I don't know that I trust in that.
I think it's 50-50 right now on starter reps. I know Mertz was still going through concussion protocol, so there were 2 days that Lagaway definitely got the starter reps, and I will say that. Thanks, Trav, for hanging out with us. Yule Beast, what's up, man? And then all of our Sooner friends here. Thanks for showing up. But I think I do understand the idea of it. I just after listening and after rewatching that game, the offensive line is not good. We know it's not good. It's not probably gonna be good. I think that
So what's the point of
Lagaway.
putting a guy that isn't mobile in?
That's what I'm saying. Lagaway gives you a little bit of escapability, which gives you a cushion for that offensive line. You know, all these athletic quarterbacks, the offensive line can be a little bit worse because they're athletic, and I think Lagaway does that. But you're going up against a true SEC defense, and I know A&M is nothing to. I mean, they're not Georgia. We're not comparing them to that, but I think that they still have some talent left over there at A&M. I think that it's going to be a tough game.
Defensively, they look real good. I think that their problem is they're not playing the right quarterback either.
Yeah, and their quarterback's questionable.
Okay. That's probably good. If they end up putting in the backup, then that's probably better for them, because what the kind of offense that Colin Klein runs is not really suited, from what we can tell so far, to play in this. For it's not as suited for their starter. And you're gonna have to excuse me. I had the dentist appointment this morning. Still a little woozy.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
So, but is
Wegman,
anyway,
Connor Wegman.
Connor Wegman, yes, he struggled mightily against, but you got to remember that it was against a really, really good Notre Dame defense as well. Now, obviously, Notre Dame did not back that up very well last week against NIU, but I do think that, yeah, listen, they struggled though on offense against A&M as well, and a lot of it was because they were able to get pressure in there. I think that they've added a lot of talent in the secondary as well. It's not going to be as simple as, going out there and carving them up. And if they're really good anywhere, it's along the defensive line. They will get pressure on there. So if I'm them, I don't know. I feel like if you know that it's all going to come down to DJ Lagaway or not, or whether you're going to keep this job or not. I don't know why you even bother with it. It better be a very short leash for Mertz, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I mean, I'd love to hear what you think about it, because this seems weird to me.
Yeah, I think you put him on a short leash. It's just an odd concept. I get it, but you don't do what you did with Miami, and you don't let DJ just sit on the pine until the third quarter, and then it's out of hand.
It doesn't matter anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you go out. I think you tell Graham Mertz. And listen, we've seen it before. We've seen freshman quarterbacks get hot on a week that a starter, was banged up or something, and then the starter comes back and just absolutely lights it up. I think that might be a possibility. Graham Mertz will dissect the defense better, and he will make the check down throws. I think that the best thing that is known about DJ Lagaway now is he's not just a runner. He can absolutely spin it. He can spin it. So now when you put DJ in, Florida, these defense say, okay, well, as of Tebow is his first year, he's going to run the ball. We're going to stack the box. He's going to run the ball. DJ, we don't know if this kid's going to run the ball or spin it. Just, AR the same way. They were like, yeah, this kid's probably going to run the ball. DJ can spin it. And I think that you saw him throw to wide receivers last week, Hawkins and Badger. And everybody's like, well, where is Wilson? Where is Wilson? Wilson was working with the ones. He doesn't have the chemistry with Wilson quite yet. Yes, they have to get Wilson the ball, but you saw him throw to more of the twos. Mizell being another one that got a touchdown. But at the end of the day, we got to run the ball. It can't be 50 passes for Lagaway. We got to establish the run with Ball and Montrell Johnson. And the offensive line has got to do their job. If not, it's going to be a very long season, Gator fans, and we're going to be at each other's throats until, Billy gets fired and Lane Kiffin gets hired. So that's what I think. The defense needs to step up. We're in year 3 of the defense, and they have been piss poor every single game. They have got to step up. Probably one of the worst defenses in the SEC, definitely in the nation. They got to do something. You see flashes of good stuff. Kind of like what you saw last week with Oklahoma, right? You see flashes, but you got to put it all together. at the same time. That is the biggest deal. It has to click for these guys, and it's got to click for defense. It has to, because if it doesn't, it's gonna be you're trotting a true freshman quarterback out there, and it's gonna be tough sledding for him. I will ask you this: if DJ takes the job over this week, say they split it 50-50, Gators get a win, but DJ just balls out. It doesn't help, right? It doesn't really. It helps the program. You got the win, but with the quarterback situation, which obviously Oklahoma has had that before, too. What do you do if you're Billy? You just play the new guy because it adds time to your seat.
I do. I think that you live and die with whatever happens, right? I think you live and die with whatever happens, because I think that. And I know and I mean, maybe I'm wrong about this, and you can correct me if I am. I think that what Sean D's saying on here, this is the same QB situation that Florida was in with Anthony and Emory Jones. I think it's very similar. Yeah. I agree with that. Here's the thing. At that time, he went with the freshman. He went, or the younger guy that, was the guy. You know what I mean? Because he knew that his upside was bigger. And why did he do that? I don't know. It seems like he must not have liked Emory much at all, right? I mean, it has to have been something about that. But I would tell you that I feel like if you're in this situation that he's in right now, you have to make that decision again. You have to, because this is the one thing that might keep Florida fans off your neck. Is if you don't have to win every game. What you have to do is be in more games, and I think that this guy keeps you in more games. Right? Because he is electric. Look, I'm not expecting him to go out and win every game. I'm expecting him to be able to make plays that shows you that when he gets a better grasp of the offense, when you have a better offensive line and you have a few more weapons around him, that he can work in this offense. He can do the things that you need him to do. And you don't want to lose him, because that may be his only saving grace, is that you know what? If DJ Lagaway is going to leave, we don't want him to leave, so maybe we keep Billy around for another year. And let's not get it twisted either, guys. He plays the same damn schedule next year.
Yeah, just revert, actually harder because of less home games.
Which new coach is going to want to deal with that shit?
Not anybody.
You know what I mean? So to me, I would say, and I see Shelton in here. Lagaway ain't leaving. I wouldn't say that. You can say that all you want. You also said they ain't losing any games this year, Shelton. So, but we take what you say with a grain of salt sometimes, bruh. So, say whatever it is. I know, I see it. Keep coming. Anyway, so, to me, I feel like you want to put him in there, and maybe that's your saving grace and maybe that's not what you guys want as Florida fans is to have Billy stay around. I don't know.
Boy, could you imagine Lagaway under Lane Train's offense? Oh boy, it could be scary.
If that's who you end up getting, I think that's the clear cut guy that everybody seems to be talking about. But what about the guy down in South Florida too? There's some other. GJ Kinney is another guy out of Texas State that is that guy. So.
Yeah. There's a lot of good coaches out there. Yeah. All right, last question before we're going to wrap it up. I told you 30 minutes, and we're going to keep to it. I saw a graphic today. Dylan Raiola or DJ Lagaway, which freshman would you rather have?
Oh, I mean, Dylan's looked really good in his first couple of games, but so is DJ Lagaway. I don't know, man. I think they're both in the situation that you think that they should be in, right? Maybe Dylan fits Nebraska about as well as he could. It works out really good because he's kind of Nebraska royalty, with his dad being a big part of the program and, in the past as well. I think it's probably as good a fit as it could be. Lagaway, you want to say he's the fit for Florida as long as things work out the way that they should and he stays. But I don't know. I guess if I wanted to be in somebody's shoes right now, it would be definitely in, Nebraska's shoes with who they've got because it's, you know, a lot more stable there, I guess is what it is.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't tell you that I think that he's necessarily better than. I think DJ Lagaway is unbelievably good. I think he's going to be a problem no matter where he is moving forward. So, yeah, I like him a lot.
For sure, for sure. All right, guys, this is going to wrap it up. Thanks for everybody hanging out. This video is powered by BetUS. Go ahead, check them out. Again, you get 150% back on your first 3 deposits up to 2K. For all you gambling junkies out there, go ahead and check it out at betus.com. Thank you guys for hanging out on the live show. We're going to do more of these every week, and it's not going to be 100% recruiting based. It's going to be matchups. We're going to have Ty on again. We're going to have Derek the Duck from the Oregon channel. We might have, Poppy on. We might have Shelton on. So,
Poppy.
But thanks, Jason, for coming on. It's always fun. I always like talking a little Sooner football.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you having me.
And I appreciate you. I'll have to hop on your show again. Jason, where can they find you real fast?
Hall of Fame College Football. It's at HOF-CFB, HOF-CAFB right here on YouTube. You can catch me at JW_HOF on Twitter as well. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. All right, guys, we're going to end it. And like I said, this video is powered by BetUS, and we will see you later.